It was the 24th of December, 1818, in a small town in Austria, and they had a crisis. You see, in those days, the preferred musical instrument in most churches was an organ, and it was no different in the St. Nicholas Church in Oberndorf. However, as the organist sat down to practice for the next day's service and pressed the first key, there was absolutely no sound. And that was a crisis for them, as this was one of the most important services of the year, and with no music, it would have been a disaster. After investigating what was going on, it seemed as though a family of mice lived in the church, and they managed to chew their way through the bellows of the organ, which is quite vital for it to make any sound. Unfortunately, everything was closed for Christmas, and there was no way they were going to have music for their carols the next day. Not long before that, the town's preacher, Joseph Moore, was walking home through the snow after he visited someone who just had a beautiful baby. And as he thought about this baby and about Christmas and the baby Jesus, he looked up and he saw some stars in the sky, and he was so touched by the whole Christmas spirit that he went home, took a pen and paper, and immediately started writing. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright. And when he heard of the crisis with the organ on that Christmas Eve, he went to his friend, who was also the principal of the local school, Franz Gruber, and asked him to put music to his poem. They say that it took Gruber less than an hour to compose the music. And then they got two ladies with beautiful voices to help them, and the next morning, the four of them, the preacher, the principal, and the two singers, sang this carol for the very first time at the Christmas service, without an organ. In fact, the church was so amazed by this carol that it didn't even miss the organ. More than 200 years later, and people all over the world are still touched deeply by this hauntingly beautiful Christmas carol, Silent Night. It has actually been translated into more than 300 languages. But to me, it's not just the lovely lyrics or the stunning score. What I find most inspiring about this carol is that in itself, it is a reminder that life don't always work out as we want it to or the way we hoped. Yet, even in the crisis, even in the most terrible circumstances, God is still with us, and He can still bring hope when things seem hopeless. He is still the God who brings light when life is at its darkest. And so, may I encourage you to take courage this Christmas, for you are not alone.